A very good evening, everybody. This is ZMH 286, Patricia and David, Gulf Harbour Radio, and it is the 17th of June. The month is rolling by. Our weather is rolling by too. It looks grim. If you look at the New Zealand weather map, you can hardly see New Zealand for all the fronts and troughs, and it stays that way. So the poor couple of boats that we know of trying to find a passage north are probably getting very frustrated. Anyway, it's warm. Well, I suppose you wouldn't call it warm after what we had yesterday. I talked about our 17 degrees. 13 degrees, although it doesn't seem that cold. 1003.5, the bar is down, and there's no wind. It is from the south. It wouldn't need much to make it a lot colder, but a trace of easterly in it, but just pretty much flat all day, so it was hard to move the fog and cloud this morning. It's about 85% cloud cover. So will be interesting to see if Donella has a bit more wind up there heading to Tonga. Donella, Gulf Harbour. May not hear me with the engine going. That's not a good sign for wind, is it? Anyway, there's nothing much else happening around the area. This is Gulf Harbour Radio. Is there anybody out there wanting to give us a weather report from wherever you are? Please call. No, nothing heard. And I forgot to mention to David, he was very interested in the report on the sale plan for master plan. I just remind him that there is an email there from Dean. Well, if there's nothing much more, I'm going to pass the microphone to see if you are interested in listening to what David's looking at on the satellite picture and what lies ahead.
All right, well, hello to anyone out there. And looking at Minerva Reef, I know there's at least one boat there. It might be more. Those of you that are there or near there, the Saturday cold front that I've been talking about for the last 4 days probably, still is on target, I think, for Saturday. I'm looking at Saturday morning, and it's a very active frontal band. There are a lot of thunderstorms and thunderstorm activity within the band, and it runs all the way up to Viti Levu, right through Suva, right through Kendavu, and it keeps going to let's call it the Banks up in Vanuatu, and continues on to the Solomons. So it's a very, very long band, and it's part of the depression that is near New Zealand, and that is a mess. New Zealand is totally got problems in terms of low pressure areas. We have a low that's just to the east of East Cape. We've got one just to the west of North Cape. There's another one that's just off Tasmania heading toward New Zealand. All of these are going to affect the weather in New Zealand in the next coming days. So it's really going to be quite an active period here. Rain that, we're not looking forward to a lot of that, quite frankly. But those of you in Minerva, that's the story. Now, up around Nuku'alofa, the winds on Saturday at about that time are going to be, for the most part, out of the north. And I would say speed-wise, we're looking at Nuku'alofa, might as well pick them. I would say about 15 knots. We'll call it 15 to 20 on Saturday. And well, that would apply to really the Hapais and Vavau as well, although Vavau could be northeast. The isobars start to make a bend at that point. So that's sort of the story for Tonga. And in terms of that frontal band getting to them, I would say it would be in the Tuesday time frame. That's about the 23rd, I think. It would go over Nuku'alofa at that point, and it continues on, goes over Kandavu, goes over Suva, over Vidi Levu, of course, and onward from there. A lot of convective activity between the latitudes of Fiji and all the way up to the equator. Virtually everywhere there are troughs, rain, squalls, you name it, it's there. So, yeah, and I believe it's fairly active MJO at that point. I'm not positive because I haven't looked at the charting for the MJO, but it looks to me like it is active. If it's not active, it should be because something else is. So I don't have much else for anybody unless there are any questions. The high pressure, the next high pressure area is over Australia. That's the next one that's going to have any chance of anybody leaving the country, I suppose. And that's very slowly going to be moving east. In fact, all of the systems are moving east very slowly. These depressions that I talked about, the big high, which is actually running a ridge straight up to, running it right up almost to Nuku'alofa from down south, almost south of New Zealand. Very narrow, and it's moving east as well. So all of that's going in that direction. And once the depressions pass New Zealand, then we'll see what the next high has in store for those of you that are still here and are thinking about getting north somewhere. So no point in making any projections at this time because the models are well, let's not say they're struggling with this, but they're going to have to work very hard to get everything fairly correct. So there's no point in giving the guesswork that they're going to have out 10 days because that is all it's going to be is a guess, really. So unless there are any questions, I will pass this on to the chief. We'll wait just a second and see if anybody comes up.
Oh, good show, Christian. I was hoping that you would come up and tell us how you're going. Hope you had a bit more wind than we thought, but go ahead, Christian, on Denella. Over.
Yeah, good evening. I'm running a couple of minutes late. We were busy outside. I'll give you my position. 2214 south, 2214 south, 176. 44 west, course around about 35, speed 5 knots, just started the engine half an hour ago, the wind died down, we had these limits all day long, round about the 10 knot mark from the northwest, so now it's down to about 4 knots, and it started a light rain about half an hour ago. So we'll motor for a bit and see if we get ahead of it. Maybe the wind will come back. I didn't get everything Dave was saying, but the little bit days is still in the northwest. But there's probably some sort of a change around by the looks of it. Back to you.
Yeah, roger that. I'll just repeat that for anybody wanting to follow your track, although you've got a great signal. 2214 south, 17644 west on a course of 035, and I believe that is true. 5 knots motoring now as the wind has died after having a day of light 10 knots from the northwest. It's about 4 at the moment with light rain. Here's David.
Okay, hi Christian. And just looking at tomorrow, actually I'm looking at about the usual lunchtime tomorrow. I think you're going to still see the 10 knots, although it's going to shift. it's going to shift out of the south. So instead of the northwest, it's going to be out of the south. So that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow at about lunchtime. We'll take a look at Friday, and there we have another shift in wind, and it now is going to be out of the east, and it's going to be easterly all the way to Tongatapu, and it will pick up. So we're looking at about 12, 14 knots, gusting up to 17 to 20. So 12, 14, gusting up to 17 to 20. And that is Friday. And that's all the way into Tongatapu. Over.
Well, we only got 100 miles to go, so we will be there tomorrow sometime. Tomorrow, yeah, in the afternoon or middle of the day. Depends if we get a bit more wind. At the moment we're doing around about 5 knots. If the wind picks up, we'll get that a bit quicker. But it was very, very hot and muggy today. 39 degrees in the cockpit, very high humidity. But now that the rain started, things have cooled down a little bit. Otherwise, we are always okay on board, the usual, and we'll just plod along. We've given up Atta, but it's not worth it. We would arrive there in the night and we would have to hang around there for many hours until the morning. So we decided that's it. We'll give it a miss and just carry it on. Thank you.
Plenty of nice places in the Harbour.
All right, great. Now, I would guess that tonight, this is purely a guess on my part, but I would say around 8 o'clock, another couple hours maybe. I think the wind is going to, well, I talked to you about the southerly wind, but it's going to be south-southeast, I believe, at that time, but it is going to pick up. So you're going to be looking tonight at about maybe 14 to 16, 17 knots, like that. So that'll be a couple hours from now. Keep our fingers crossed, and that should carry you into Tongatapu. Over.
I'll let you know tomorrow what time it arrives. Okay, thanks for that. Thank you.
Well, he's putting his, I'll call it guesswork, but it's, well, we'll wait and see. All right, Christian, and all those on Donella, we'll hope you have a good landfall tomorrow, and we'll, yeah, who knows, I'm not sure what the propagation's like from in there at the docky area. So, although no, Rubicon came in rather well, so I'm sure you will too. All right, have a good night, and I do hope that things happen as David has described. All right, we'll clear with Donella. Is there anybody else before we leave you in peace? No, nothing heard. Okay, if anyone wants the frequency, it's all yours. And if you need to get in touch with us by other means, it is ghradio at extra, xtra, .co.nz. That's ghradio, which is our website, .co.nz. Have a good night, everybody. Cheers.